longest-running computer show. Sound Bytes. Call the show now at 966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll free 800-790-0415 or soundbytes.org. Now, alongside Steve Ray and Dave Enright, here's Nick Francesco on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Good afternoon, Mr. and Mrs. American, all the chips in the PC. It is Saturday, the 26th day of April. Where did this month go? Anno Domini 2025, and you, you lucky people, you're listening to Sound Bites. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And at 5 minutes after the hour, we're going to be bringing you news, views, things to choose, nothing to lose, kick off your shoes, don't get the blues. You paid your dues.
Mm-hmm.
And that means that before the news, I will tell you thank you to everyone who was able to and did pledge and donate to us. We reached our goal. In fact, we surpassed our goal a little bit. Always a joyful thing to hear. So thanks to each and every one of you who was able to participate in this pledge drive. So thanks to all of you. And I know for a fact that our listenership stepped up, and I can't begin to thank you enough.
They're there for us.
You're there for us, and we appreciate whether you can pledge or whether you just listen. We are honored to have you as members of the family. Okay. The FBI says it's enough of the maudlin nonsense. Let's get to the news. The FBI says cyber criminals have stolen a record $16.6 billion with a B dollars in 2024, marking an increase in losses of over 33% compared to the previous year. According to the Bureau's annual Internet Crime Complaints Center, or IC3 report, the IC3 recorded almost 860,000 complaints last year, amounting to an average loss of $19,372 per person. The most impacted group is older Americans, especially people over 60, who filed over 147,000 complaints linked to approximately $4.8 billion, that's with a B, in losses. $4.8 billion in 147,000 complaints. I'll let you do the math. However, it's important to note that all figures mentioned in IC3's reports are based on known online crime cases discovered by law enforcement or reported by victims directly. As such, they represent only a fraction of the actual losses caused by cybercrime each year in the United States and worldwide, as many incidents go undetected or are never reported to the authorities. For instance, when estimating the impact of ransomware attacks, the estimated losses only include reported ransom payments. This number does not include estimates of lost business, time, wages, files, equipment, or any third-party remediation services. In some cases, companies do not report any lost amount to the FBI, thereby creating an artificially low overall ransomware loss rate. Lastly, the number only represents what companies report to the FBI via the IC3 and does not account for the company directly reporting to FBI field offices or agents. Of course, there is also a public service announcement warning that some scammers are impersonating IC3 employees and offering to help fraud victims recover money lost to other scammers. So our poll of the week at soundbytes.org, that is Bytes with a Y, Francis would like us to remind you, is we lost billions to cybercrime in 2024. And your choices are, I got hit, someone I know got hit, I worry about it, and they'll never fool me. So far, we've got 27 votes, and I worry about it is number one, and people lying to themselves and saying they'll never fool me is a distant second. One person actually got hit. At any rate, you can vote in the poll. It's really easy to do. Just head on over to soundbytes.org. That is Bytes with a Y, Francis would like us to remind you. And once you have voted in the poll, feel free to give us a call now that we aren't also begging. I expect we'll get more calls. 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll free 800-790-0415. Scammers are getting better at it. One of the things that's happening nowadays that didn't used to happen is that they are linking social media to users. So I have a social media account, and I post something about my daughter. And my daughter has online a video of herself doing stuff. They can grab that, make a deep fake of her voice, and have her call me.
Yep.
And it sounds just like my daughter. She's saying things that my daughter would say. And, you know, Dad, I'm in jail, or I've got robbed and I need money. Can you email me? You know, can you put money in my account? Here's the account number.
Yeah, and that's when you turn to her and say, "Are you in jail?"
Well, I've done that.
Yeah.
I did that. I got a call at one point. I was sitting on the couch watching a movie of an evening, and I got a call that said, "Hi, my name is Joe, and I'm calling for your daughter. She's been arrested. She's in jail. We need money immediately to bail her out. Can you put $500 in my account?" I turned to my daughter, who was sitting next to me, and said, "Why are you in jail?" She said, "What?" I said, "You talk to him." So I handed her the phone. The guy didn't get it. He said, "This is Joe. His daughter's in jail. We need them." She swore at him. She was very rude.
I'm not in jail.
She was very rude. But yes, so it is. People seem to be ashamed that they got scammed. Do not be ashamed. These people are experts at reading people, at cold readings, at getting you to give them money. It's their job, and they are very good at it. It is not your job to weed out scammers. That used to be the Amazing Randy. I don't know who's doing it now. But that's their job, not yours. So if you got hit, there's no shame in that. There's no reason to be angry at yourself or upset. It's their job, and they're good at it.
And they're getting better, which is the problem.
And they're getting better.
Many states, in fact, I just posted a link to all the states that are doing it. Many states have laws or are enacting or pending legislation making deep fake images or voices illegal. That's always the joke about the law. Everything is legal until it's not.
Right.
Let me get down to M. And, you know, we have a lot of states, and we're alphabetically pretty low.
Yeah,
New York,
we are.
New Hampshire, New Jersey.
Not us.
New Mexico, New York. There we are.
Oh, excellent.
So there are several bills pending. Yeah.
But yeah, so please, if you are the victim of a scam, don't hide it. Talk to your local police. Talk to the FBI. Talk to the crime centers. Get yourself out there. Get it known that this is still happening.
There's one, a nice one. Assembly Bill 216. Advertisements must disclose the use of synthetic media.
Nice.
Pending.
Of course, pending.
Yeah.
But you know, we'll see which ones go through. But yeah, don't be ashamed.
Looks like Tennessee, the Elvis Act.
Nice.
Ensuring likeness, voice, and image security has
Right.
passed. So apparently they're one of the first states to actually pass an anti-fake, deep fake voice or image.
Well, it sounds
law.
like that also includes, music.
Yeah, likeness,
right? So
voice, and
somebody
image.
can't put out a song saying, "Oh, Elvis recorded this one before he died."
Mm-hmm. It looks like this might have been originally because of the music industry.
Yeah.
That's probably what somebody did. Here's a new Elvis song I found. Pay me a lot of money for it.
Yep. So yeah, deep fakes are getting so much better.
That's most of the budget of this radio station is paying the music licenses.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. But many the deep fakes are getting better. The computer programs to generate deep fakes are getting better and getting easier to use. It used to be you had to be a pretty good sound engineer or video engineer or computer scientist to create a deep fake. Now there's apps. You just click.
Yep.
And it happens. So,
and it's becoming plots in TV shows.
yeah,
It's so common now.
yeah,
Well, the other thing too, though, it's getting more and more difficult to find out whether a site is really legit or not.
right.
And buying stuff. I mean, there's so many ads that'll pop up. Oh, you can get, say, under the counter lights. I've seen quite a few of those
Yep.
lately, and different sites you can get it, and a lot of them are fake.
A lot of them are fake, or a lot of them you get like 2 lights
Yeah, and they're,
instead of a
they're
strip
cheap.
of 50.
Yeah, cheap pieces of junk.
I like the ones that don't show any scale.
Yeah, yeah.
So you get a couch that the cat can lay on for $100 because it looked like a real
Looks
couch.
like a real couch.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, there's lots of pictures of what the dress looked like on
Yep.
whatever, and then the dress they actually got.
Yeah.
We're seeing that with thumb drives. The terabyte drives for $10. No.
Yep. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably
It
is.
probably is. Yeah.
Yeah. And Steve Gibson has a program now that will
Validrive.
Validrive. It seems to only be for Windows though.
But it works under Wine.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's a Windows program, so
Because he writes an x86 assembler. So
Right.
Somebody said, when are you going to move on to some other language? And he said, oh, probably never. He turned 70 recently, and I'm set. Masm is great.
right. I'm happy. This is my language.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is a sad reality that the fakes are out there. They're getting better in every area of our lives.
And the almost more frustrating part of the fake thumb drives is people that leave a bad review or try to tell Amazon these are fake, get their reviews get taken down.
Right.
Yeah.
Because, well, we can't corroborate that. So Steve did that a bunch of times. Sent them screenshots of his program showing this is an 8 gigabyte controller claiming to be a terabyte. And they said, well, no, we can't corroborate that. And it took his bad review down.
Yep.
Well, I followed what you've done for a while, though, Nick. Last 2 weeks ago, because I wasn't here last week, but 2 weeks ago, my one machine just got so old. Well, it's 12 years old.
Sure.
Doesn't owe me anything, and it was getting so slow to start stuff. I was ready to pick it up and throw it out onto Empire Boulevard.
Windows.
Yeah, it was a Windows machine.
Yep.
So I thought, all right, I need a new machine.
Sure.
So I went to Woot,
Oh.
and I wound up getting an i7, 32 gig of memory, and a terabyte hard drive
Yep.
for $303.
Yes.
Because it was a refurb.
Yes. And
That damn thing is so lightning fast. It's unbelievable. Windows 11, but it's beautiful.
and people say, "Oh, it's a refurb. It's got to be junk." Excuse me.
Oh, heck no.
Refurb often simply means they replaced a key.
Or somebody bought it, didn't like it, works perfectly fine, but they
Yeah.
didn't like it and returned it.
Right.
Yeah,
And,
I got
now it cannot be sold as new.
I got the full warranty with it,
Yep.
and the thing is lightning fast.
Yep.
An i7?
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, heck yeah, I'll take the gamble.
Yep.
For $303.
I love Woot. And Woot is an Amazon company. So now their policies are really good about returns and all of that stuff. So
And I feel safer going through there than
Oh,
some
yes.
of these other ads. Like I said, being tricked to get this system and that, and it's a piece of junk.
yep. When I bought my Lenovo, an i9 and blah 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 blah, and it was 47% off because it's last year's model.
Mhm.
I don't care. I'm perfectly happy with last year's model at 47% off than this year's model at full price. And this year's model doesn't give me a lot more.
Yeah. Well, I turned around and took my old machine, which was dead butt, just about out. Turned around and put Linux on it. Revive that sucker.
Fast as heck now,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's going. I hooked up another server to it, another drive that I can use for backup. That sits down in the basement, just tucked it over in the corner. Doesn't have to do anything. Does all the updates. I checked every so often. I got it set up to automatically update, and it's running great.
Yep. And that's one of the things people don't. We were talking about this earlier. E-waste. You don't have to throw out an old computer. If you're willing to play around a little bit with Linux, you can put Linux on it and make it a second machine, a backup machine, a machine that does backup as opposed in addition to a machine that's ready in case your main machine dies. You can save stuff on it. If you want to, you can make it a server. You can do all kinds of things with it.
I did the version Kubuntu.
Kubuntu, yeah.
Which has KDE in it.
Right.
And for you folks that they're talking English I don't understand. This looks and feels just like Windows. There's the little button down in the lower left-hand corner that you can click on, and there's all the menu selections, just like you're used to seeing with Windows. It comes with LibreOffice, so I can do word processing, spreadsheets, you name it, it's there. And again, Linux has such a unbelievable amount of software out there to do any task that you want it to do. All it is a matter of installing it and putting it on. The other thing was I wound up putting my money dance on there.
Of course you did.
It's another place that I can have it for backup in case this other one bites the dust.
Yep. And KDE is the K desktop environment. And it looks very much like Windows. It used to be, I really liked the look of it.
Yeah.
But back in the day, it was just dog slow. I mean, it was heavy and slow and terrible. And then somewhere along the line, somebody told me, oh no, they rewrote the whole thing from scratch. It's much faster. Sure it is. Well, I tried it recently. And holy moly.
That's what I mean. This machine that I was ready to throw out to the curb, I put that on there. That is like, is this the same machine that I was ready to throw out?
Usually adding something new to an old computer slows it down because the new thing expects newer, faster hardware.
Right.
Not this.
Right.
I've got 16 gig of memory in it and a terabyte hard drive. It's happier than a pig in mud and moving right along. Just another server to back other stuff up.
The lovely thing about Linux is that it works very well with the brand new stuff, like my new desktop. It also works with the very old stuff because they just didn't bother to take any of it out. It's the point here is when you install Linux, it installs what's needed, but it's got all those drivers just sitting there and waiting.
Yep.
So if you don't, a driver you don't need doesn't get loaded.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few things that get loaded that I don't need, like certain languages. I don't speak Estonian. I don't need Estonian installed. But it doesn't take up much room, particularly when you're looking at terabyte hard drives.
Peanuts.
Yeah. So I don't worry about that. But the reality is massive numbers of languages, lots of different desktops. I prefer the XFCE desktop.
Mm-hmm.
You like KDE.
Yeah.
There's also GNOME. There's 150,000 desktops.
Well, that's the other thing too, though, is when it's booting up, you can select between the different desktops.
Yep.
Because it's got a drop-down menu that you can sit there and select it.
Yep.
I did a machine this week, and when it turned on, you know how your desktop fills with icons?
Oh, yeah.
It just kept filling and filling and filling and filling and filling. 1,500 icons on the desktop, all filed on top of each other.
Was this a Windows machine or
It was a Mac.
It's a Mac.
So a couple of systems. People put everything on their desktop so they know where it is.
Right.
But you can't find it in all that mess.
Right.
Holy
So
crap.
Apple has a feature called Stacks that they turned on a few or made a few systems ago. So I turned that on. So then all the Word files go into one icon, and all the Excel files go into one icon. So instead of 1,000 icons for Word, you get one icon that opens up into a menu of your 1,000 Word files.
Right. And
Not quite
on
a folder.
Windows, you can do that with folders.
Well, you do with
Yeah.
folders on the Mac too, but this is automatic.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And it's just I couldn't. It just kept going and going and going. Now, what was interesting is on their old computer, on older Mac OSs, if you get too many icons to fit in the desktop, they all pile on top of each other in the upper right corner. But on the newer OSs, they cascade across the screen. And when they fill, they go back and start over and cascade again, and then back over and cascade again and cascade again. So they kept going and going again. So
Why the heck did
I don't
they
know.
have that many?
Open the desktop folder and it said 1,500 items on it.
Unbelievable. My wife puts a lot of things on her desktop, but I
Yeah.
finally convinced her to put stuff in folders on her desktop,
Same with mine.
so that
Yeah.
and I can back them up to pCloud now. And I told her, look, the stuff you're working on this week you can put on the desktop. When you're done with it, put it in the folder.
Yeah. What is it? There's two kinds of people: those that put everything on their desktop, and those that put nothing on their desktop, and they marry each other.
Yeah, I have, unlike my real desk, my computer desktop is quite spare.
Yep. If you can't see your desktop picture, you've got